But they created a monster.
And you?
Hey, listen, I swear to God, last year, there's a comedian. I don't like crapping on other comedians. Right. It's just the way. So last year, there was a comedian who followed an Asian kid on a stage, all right? The Asian kid.
I know that.
So, blah, 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 blah. All right, so the Asian kid put the video out.
Right.
And I swear to God, dude, on every podcast that we're talking about that's against me, even the main one.
Yeah.
You know what they said? I swear to God, and I quote, I can't believe that he would do that. You don't put stuff on the internet when it's comedian to comedian. You keep it amongst yourselves, you keep it between comedians, and you do it on your own, and you do not put it out to the internet.
Yeah.
And bro, between us, I picked up my television and I threw it on the floor and broke it.
Carlos Mencia.
Sorry, I got you in trouble, bro.
No, you're back on Checkitow. You came to see your homeboy who has your back online, dude. Look,
why did they get on you for?
Bro, because, let me bring it up. So it's, because, like, I was defending the fact that, like, Rogan went too hard on you, remember? Like
what you said, if I remember, that upon looking at it after, you felt like it was bullying.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes, because at the end of the day, dude, the joke that you supposedly stole from Ari Shaffir is a joke that most people would have come up with.
No, it's a joke that about 10 other comedians actually did.
Yeah.
I did it, D.L. Hewley did it, Lopez did it, Paul Rodriguez did it, I think Dennis Miller did it, I think Bill Maher did it. It was one of those Mexicans are in construction. If you're going to build it, if you're going to build a wall, who's going to build it? So that. But here's what I do now.
Right.
When I do a podcast or something like that and they want to bring it up, I say, look, you could bring up anything you want. I only ask this. If you're going to bring up my joke stealing, you need to have somebody there that's going to say he stole my joke.
Right.
Have that guy there and we'll discuss it. Because yesterday my 16-year-old, it's ironic, yesterday my 16-year-old kid goes, Dad, ever since I can remember people hate on you, you haven't even put out a special in 13 years until now. Why, Dad? And I was like, I have no idea. So I asked the question about it, and somebody said, well, look at these people and these people and these people, and they said this and this and that. I said, yeah, but every single one of those people said I stole jokes from somebody else. Right. It was never you took it from me. It was, well, you took it from somebody else. You took it from somebody else. You know what happened? Here's what happened. I was a young, arrogant, brash kid who came from the hood, and my attitude of survival, the things that helped me get out of the projects, hurt me in stand-up. When I walked into a room as a young kid, I wanted everybody to know, don't mess with me. Don't talk to me. Don't mess with me. You might be here to do comedy. I'm here to get out of the hood. I'm here to get out of a neighborhood where they shoot at me. I'm here to get out of a place where I buy a new car, they steal it. I'm here to get out of a place where my cousin got shot in the back and can never walk again. I don't give a shit about your feelings. Seriously. Yeah. I don't fucking care. Whatever your feelings are, they mean shit to me. Well, that attitude helped me get out, and it helped me become successful, but it hurt me with other comics. It hurt me because these guys didn't, a lot of them came from middle class. They didn't understand the anger. They didn't understand where I was coming from. And, my isolationism led them to go there. And then when all this started, instead of getting mad, instead of fighting it, I went, wait a minute. If all these people hate me, what am I doing? What am I doing? And this past decade was me just going on this journey to find out what it was about me that led these people to feel like one of the questions I asked yesterday was, I haven't put out anything in 13 years. Right. Why are you still on this? Like, what is it about me that makes you guys, and I don't want to name other comics, but many of the comics have been accused not only of plagiarism, but of sexual assault, et cetera, et cetera. And within a year or two, they're back. Right. And nobody's really giving them any, what is it about me? And it was that. It was that, look, when I was young, I was at the Comedy Store, and if I had a spot at 10 o'clock and Dice came in and Martin Lawrence came in and somebody of that nature came in. Instead of 10 o'clock, I was going on at 12 o'clock. I never got mad about that. What I thought was, oh, those are the rules. That's how it works. So you work really hard, and then when you get the chance, you get to walk in here and do as long as you want. And that's what I did. The problem was, by the time Carlos Mencia got to that place, right, 2004, Mina Mencia, the world had changed, right? It was no longer okay to haze, even if you got hazed.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm the guy who got hazed, who got a toilet plunger in his ass, and I took it because that's part of being the fraternity boy. But when it came my time, and I was like, okay, I got a plunger, everybody went, we don't do that anymore. And I didn't see that at the time. I didn't realize that at the time. I was in my own world. Right. And now I see their pain. There was a young comedian that I recently talked to. Well, he was young when we first started doing stand-up. And he was pissed off because one time he had a spot at 9 o'clock. His parents had never seen him perform before. They had flown in specifically from the Midwest to do that, to come and see that show. And I went on really long, and by the time he went on, half the audience had left the main room. Back in the day, I would have been like, dude, do you know how many times my mom and dad came to see me perform and stayed here till 2 o'clock in the morning, blah, 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 blah. But it was the first time that I just saw his pain. I saw that, like, wow, you were just so hurt by that, and you thought it was personal. It had nothing to do with you. But I started seeing those moments, and then I realized, like, man, I just hurt a lot of people's feelings. And I wish I could say that I'd change it or be different, but I don't know that I could. I don't know that I had the capacity to see that at the time. I don't know that I had the wherewithal to see that. You know what I mean? I didn't have the ability to see beyond what I needed to accomplish. Right. And then what I do on stage doesn't help, because I'm not one of those self-deprecating comedians that goes on stage and says, my life sucks. Doesn't it suck when your life sucks? I also not the kind of comedian that says, you know when you're driving and your girlfriend hates you? I say, I was driving. I was with my girlfriend. I was with my wife. And that kind of an attitude leads people to believe that that's who I am.
Right.
And so what I've learned in the past 24 hours, literally from a lot of people who don't like me, who were honest enough to be real, dude, these people think I'm a monster. Like, seriously, these people think that I am honestly capable of being German, pretending I was born in Honduras, pretending that my mother's Mexican, pretending that I'm a Latino,
right,
culturally appropriating all of that, sitting in the back of comedy clubs, watching other comedians perform,
right,
taking their jokes, and then on top of that, not caring. This I did do, not caring about whether they were there or not giving a shit about that. But all those things put together, they really believe that I'm that kind of monster. And
well, the one who
I don't know what to say about that.
Okay, let me jump in here and just say that, like, the way that you have rebuilt yourself from the ground up in the past couple of years, culminating in this hilarious special. Right. Here I am. You can see it on Roku, by the way. It is. I mean, it shows a lot, and you. It's obvious that you on stage now really is like your material. It speaks from your heart, and it makes a lot of sense. We're gonna get into a lot of the relevance with the social stuff,
sure,
and some of the commentary, because, like, you know, so many people are with you, and the comedy needs comedians like the way you are now.
Right.
But as far as rebuilding yourself from the ground up, going and performing at comedy clubs, seeing a lot of these comedians you pissed off face to face, but at the end of the day, dude, you always have your head high. You back down from nobody. You know, I actually get pissed off.
But that's the attitude. Right. Because that's not what they want. Like, somebody said to me, well, a lot of people have said, well, why don't you just say I'm sorry? I'm like, sorry to who?
But sorry for what?
But here it is. Sorry to who? Who are these comedians? Right. Like, you're still talking about supposedly something that happened 2006.
I think people don't even know about the stolen material anymore. But the guy, who's the guy that constantly tries to say that you're German? What? Because you have like part of your family might be. People are mixed.
I have
You're
no
obviously
idea.
Latino.
I have no idea what part of Germany any of my lineage comes from. As a matter of fact, when I did the genealogy stuff, Germany didn't come up.
Where does that name come
Portugal, Spain.
You have a European
grandfather's last name is Holness, Holness, which we thought was German, but turns out it's more British than anything.
Right.
So, but whatever.
People are mixed.
Whatever.
You're obviously Latino.
Whatever.
And he was trying to make it seem like
exactly. Those are all excuses to hate me. And look, there was one guy who just was honest, and I wish I would have pulled it out and read it to you, but he was like, "Bro, you're easy to hate. You look arrogant. Your confidence comes off as way too much, and
you're not the humble Latino that, yeah."
But wait a minute. Humility to me isn't acquiescing to everybody and pretending that I'm nothing. Mm-hmm. You can't do that.
Right.
I don't care what you are. We can hide it. If you think that Pelé didn't know how good he was, you're mistaken. Mm-hmm. There are people that are able to hide it and kind of pretend and be cool. But there's a reason why when he was on that stage with that ball, mm-hmm. he did what he did. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to make people look stupid sometimes. He did because he could.
Right.
And that's everybody that's good at what they do. Everybody.
Let me ask you this though, on the Rogan tip, because that's always been. I want to see you on Rogan. I want to see you guys talk it out. Has there been any?
First of all, you like everybody else. I never started this.
But no,
I've never, listen.
You have some mutual friends that could set it up, no?
Listen to me, bro. When Rogan recently got in trouble and they tried to cancel him, especially for being racist, every single major publication in America called me and asked me, straight up, Rogan has said he forgives white comedians that steal jokes, but not you. What do you have to say about that? And I'll say to them what I'm going to say to you. Ask him. That's a him question, not a me question. I have no idea. You think he's done? I don't know. Ask him. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to contribute to what occurred to me.
Right.
Dude, I know what that's like.
Right.
I know what it's like for people that don't know you to detest you, to literally hate you.
Right.
I know what it's like to have people come up to me and say, I don't care that my brother, my sister, my aunt didn't want to come because they're pissed at me because we're coming to see you. Like to in certain circles, little tiny,
right.
But I'm as divisive to those people as Trump was in some way.
It's crazy.
And that's crazy because all I've ever wanted to do is make people laugh and make their day brighter.
But do you think that you're using it to your advantage now in your comeback?
I don't look at it that way. I don't know. I just, look, what I realized was...
It's kept your name in the circles, people,
But not in a good way, bro. Not in a good way, because it's not like people are saying he sucks.
Right.
What people are saying is he betrayed other comedians. He took their jokes. He built his empire, quote unquote, on the backs of others. It's a way different hatred. But I take responsibility for some of the stuff. Look, some of the things that I learned was, one of them was my best friend in the whole world said to me, sometimes you're a dick and you don't even know it. And I was like, well, from you? This is coming from you? One of my best friends in the world. He's like, okay, 20 years ago, I'm going to bring this up. I'm like, oh my God, 20 years ago? I did something to you? So here's what happened. He goes, do you remember when you brought me to your Christmas? I said, yes. You're the first non-family member we ever invited to our Christmas celebration. Because our family is huge. I have 11 sisters, 6 brothers, 70-some nephews and nieces. Wow. Then when you include like my mom's side of the family, the Mexican side, we just triple that. So, we really don't need extra people. And I go, yeah, I totally remember. He goes, do you remember what you did? I go, yes, I know exactly what I did. I bought him an Xbox. Now, if you bought, back in the day, there was no internet. Right. So if you bought somebody an Xbox and you didn't get him an extra controller, you're a dick. Because what happened was you opened it up, you found one controller, and you went, let's play. Oh, there's only one controller. So I was like, okay, I got him a controller. Then I tried to put it together and package it and I couldn't do it. So I went, I got an idea. I'm going to pretend that the gift is the controller. And then I'm going to wait till the end of the night. So that's what I did. I gave him a controller and everybody opened their gifts. And literally at the end of the night, when he was opening the door to his car, I came out with the big present. I went, dude, I was messing with you, bro. I love you, dude. Here's the box. He goes, yeah. It was funny for 5 minutes. And then every minute after that, it was more and more humiliating. I'm your friend. I backed you up. I supported you. Without my help, you might not even be the comedian that you are today. And everybody looked at me, or at least that's what it felt like, and I was humiliated, and I didn't even care. I wanted to throw that box on the ground and run it over when you gave it to me at the end of all of that. And that was the first time where I went, oh my God. And I just started crying. I started crying because I had seen that thing from such a different perspective.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing it from your perspective. It was.
I understand that, but here's the thing. What I realized is when it comes to people's feelings, when it comes to the way they see things, it's different. It's about feelings. It's not about truths, right? It's not about facts. It's about how people feel. And when I realized that I make people feel that way,
Right.
I made people feel that way, I have to be very careful now of how I speak. Another one of my buddies, I called him up. I go, have I ever done something to you? He goes, do you remember the first time I got a standing ovation? I said, hell yes. I was there, dude. I saw it. It was amazing. He goes, do you remember what you said when I got off stage? Yeah. I looked at you and I said, someday you're actually going to be really funny. He goes, you were my mentor. You were my guy. All I wanted from you was, that was great. And you shattered it.
But I think that's what you were saying. Okay, look, I got.
But this is my point.
Yeah, I think
this is what I've had to deal with.
I think you're misunderstood.
Oh no, I am misunderstood. But here's the
right,
problem.
yeah.
That misunderstanding has nothing to do with the way I show it, right? It has to do with the way other people see it. And so now I'm really careful of what I say. First of all, I didn't know that I was a mentor. You could have told me some stuff like that.
Right.
But what I did realize was me not seeing their pain, me just seeing past their pain and going, you know what, dude, buck up, whatever. Doesn't help. It doesn't change how they feel.
Well, I think with the guy with the gift, he wanted to show his family, because were you famous by that point?
Yes.
Okay. He wanted to show that he has this famous friend who thinks about him so much that he gets him a good gift.
Right.
I think that if you weren't a famous comedian and you did it the same way, they probably would have just seen the humor and be like, oh, whatever. I wasn't humiliated. It was, I can see where.
Yeah, but if I was
if
I was in a corporation,
right,
I would have pissed some people off on the way up.
Right.
And then once I got to the VP, to the president's place after 10, 15 years, they all would have kissed my ass, talked a lot of smack behind me.
Right.
But seeing that I'm good for the company and that I'm good for them and that we make money and that we're productive and everything would have been fine, and their feelings would have been normal feelings. Oh, the boss, blah, 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 blah. And then in front of me, they would have been nice.
Yeah.
This was a completely different. This was, I hurt people's feelings in our industry to the point where when somebody put a microphone in front of them and said, hey, what do you have to say about Carlos Mencia? They said the most hurtful thing they possibly could. Basically, if I was black, they would have all called me the N-word.
Yeah.
Because they knew that was the most hurtful thing. And the most hurtful thing for a comedian is everything that they said. You're not real.
Right.
You're fake. Everything you do is synthesized. Everything you do comes from something else. You steal everything to take away from the truthfulness of what I am. And for that, I do take responsibility for. And I have to, because if not, the next time I walk, look, this special is doing really well and it's getting great ratings and everything is changing. My numbers are already way
And this is your first special in 13 years.
My first special in
Fantastic,
13 years.
by the way.
I'm just grateful. You didn't see the ending. Watch the ending and you'll see.
Okay.
I literally end the show by telling people, I know I'm supposed to end the show with a big laugh. I know I'm supposed to do a closer, but that's me cheating. That is me telling a joke, making you laugh. In the midst of your laughter, I say goodnight, and that energy just builds upon itself. I said, I'm not going to do that. This is your moment. I was up here. I know what I did. I saw you laugh. I felt you laugh. I heard you laugh. I've been up here for this long. I'm not going to build a wave. You guys just react how you think this show was and how good or bad you think it was. And I just said goodnight. And that kind of stuff, I never would have been able to do before in that respect, because I just didn't have the wherewithal. And ironically, I'm so much edgier now than I ever was back in the day. I talk about things that I never talked about.
But you
before.
confront yourself in a way that, I mean, even coming on this podcast, like even the first time you were here, I was so surprised at how open you were.
Always have been.
Which is what some of the comments were expected. You know, they don't actually hate you. It's like you become a target, and they believe they're fighting for this other guy that they're a fan of, and it's nonsense. I do think that it would be the biggest podcast in the world if you and Rogan got together. Now there is, because you I can ask you anything. There is one comedian that you worked with that you went on his podcast and you hashed stuff out. That was Bobby Lee.
Yes.
How explain how things are going with him, because you guys hashed a lot of stuff out. Did you leave better than? Now he also has issues with Rogan too, by the way.
I wish that I had been a little more honest with him. With regards to certain aspects of it, but look, I don't expect my friends to be perfect, and I don't expect my friends to fight battles for me. I expect my friends to be themselves. And Bobby is who Bobby is, has always been that. He's always been himself. And if you listen to the podcast, there's a point where I go, Bobby, you go the way the wind goes. And he goes, hell yeah, I'm a survivor. Like, he literally says that. So if I was to become, within the next year or so, like Carlos Mencia, oh my God, he's back, go check him out. And I'm selling out, what used to be the Staples Center or the Forum all of a sudden. I guarantee that if I go on Bobby's show, he's only going to say positive things. That's how he rolls. That's who he is. I just wish that there were certain moments in there where I would have said to him, like, hey, bro, do you really believe that? Because if you do, then my soul is crushed.
How did you leave it when you guys finished the podcast?
No, like I said, we're good. I understand Bobby. I mean, look, when he says I'm a survivor and I'll say what I need to say because I don't like, the pushback. That's enough you need to know. And I'm not asking him.
I don't want to bring up, because I'm not a canceller, and I hate that. But he's been going through a lot of the people that came after you have gone through their own stuff, and they should realize. And they should realize, like, oh wow, okay, you know what?
Oh, they do.
Like,
but they created a monster.
And you?
Hey, listen, I swear to God, last year there's a comedian. I'm not gonna give him. I don't like crapping on other comedians. Right. It's just the way. So last year there was a comedian who followed an Asian kid on a stage, all right? The Asian kid.
I know that.
So blah, 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 blah. All right, so the Asian kid put the video out.
Right.
And I swear to God, dude, on every podcast that we're talking about that's against me, even the main one.
Yeah.
You know what they said? I swear to God, and I quote, I can't believe that he would do that. You don't put stuff on the internet when it's comedian to comedian. You keep it amongst yourselves, you keep it between comedians, and you do it on your own, and you do not put it out to the internet.
Yeah.
And bro, between us, I picked up my television and I threw it on the floor and broke it.
Wow.
Because I was like, are you serious?
That's exactly what happened to you.
Are you serious? But then I realized that part of them was like, I'm the poster boy for what not to do anymore in comedy. That is why after me, all of these accusations from everybody else always get tempered. They're always like, wait a minute, but you never know. And hey, because when they went full force on me, they realized it. And now it's not comedians. It's not comedians saying anything. It's just the leftover people on the internet that are like, you riled me up and you told me to hate him and I hate him and I'll hate him forever. And they think that they need to make choices. And I'm glad that when I'm on stage and I do a Q&A and somebody starts saying something negative about other comedians, I immediately stop them.
Right.
And I tell them on my social media as well, do not put other people down in order to feel good about yourself. You don't have to support me that way. Talk about what I made you feel. Talk about how I made you laugh. Talk about whatever it is that I had effect on you in that way. But you don't need to say that somebody else sucks in order for me to be great at my job.
No, but yes, absolutely. Let's talk about the audience that you have in some ways rebuilt or built from scratch, because some people might be running into your comedy, from the get-go. I love this new special from what I've seen. Like I said, I have to finish it. But, I was watching it before you came in here.
Right.
And you're the only Latino comedian that I ever booked that gets here 5 minutes early. That's probably the quote unquote German side of him. But I love the joke that you make that the only people that you don't piss off are illegal immigrants and rednecks.
It's true.
Because right now in America,
it's really true, by the way.
I can imagine they need to hear that message because you're taking these two extremes, right, that aren't supposed to be compatible, and you're saying that these are your people, two groups that are supposedly completely opposite. And it's the people in the middle that are always looking for a fight and looking for something to be pissed off that are actually muddling the conversation. Right. So tell me about like how you came to this set. And by the way, and I can tell it's your original material, like primo, everything, all the setups, all the punchlines. Like, dude, you've made yourself into like a new comic.
They always have been. I think that the difference is that I now don't have to be when I did my last special at the time, and I think it still is. It has more laughs per talk ratio per minute than any special ever done, because I was so fast and every joke got to the point. And I now have the ability to slow it down, right? I liken it to like if you like football, soccer, when young kids come out, they're fast and they run, and every time they get the ball, they want to score. And it takes a couple of years for them to pick their choice. Like, wait, calm down, send it back. I don't have to go right now. Now's the time. With time comes that, and I have that. I think that what changed me, especially recently, was one of them is that those two groups have never been offended.
Right.
As a matter of fact, earlier this year, I was doing a show in Ontario, California, and somebody yelled out, "Stop making fun of Mexicans." And I said, "How am I making fun of Mexicans? I haven't even done any jokes where I made fun of Mexicans." And he goes, "You just did right now." I go, "No, I did an impression of an undocumented person, but the joke wasn't even about him. The joke was about the other person in the joke." And he goes, "What sounds like you're making fun of him?" And then somebody stood up and went, "I don't have papers, and this is how I talk.
Yeah.
So fuck you." And then he sat back down, and I was like, there you go. So
it was a professor's kid who was completely removed from the culture.
Who believes that just doing first of all, it's more about him. It's like, oh, so you think people with accents are stupid because you assume that if I do an accent, then I'm saying that person's stupid, when I never said that. That's your filter, not mine. And so with all of this stuff, it's allowed me to see those moments.
Right.
But here's what I discovered recently that really changed everything for me. And I tell the audience this, especially in the beginning of my shows, come back, I'll say this today, go watch an LGBTQ show. And every single joke and every single word that we're not supposed to use, they use with impunity. And the audience laughs with impunity. Go see an urban show. The N-word will be used repeatedly and nobody will get offended. The people in the audience will yell it out. The same thing. Go see a Latino show. All the words, all the things, all this stuff we're not supposed to say in Spanish. The fact that we all don't get along. The fact that we're Latinos in the English market. Pero cuando estamos aquí, there's a reason why La Gozadera says, "Y saca tu bandera." We know this. Go back during an Asian show, bro. Asian comedians do something so racist that none of us can get away with. Asian comedians literally, when they're doing impressions of other Asians, they squint their eyes more. Are you seriously? You see it all the time. Here's my problem.
Babeli does that.
Yeah, everybody does. But think about this. If you're an LGBTQ, just per se, and you come to my show, and I start doing gay jokes, and you get offended, or you're like, you're not supposed to do those jokes. What you're saying to me is that you don't consider me to be your equal. Oh, you're not black, you can't do those jokes. Oh, you're not Asian, you can't do those jokes. Or you're not this, you can't do those jokes. Oh, you're from Honduras? Well, you're doing Mexican jokes. You're not. I don't believe that. I don't believe that I have to be gay in order to see a gay perspective. And I don't think that people that are gay have to be Latinos in order for them to be the perspective or see the perspective. And I'm not gonna fall into that. I believe that everybody I talk about is my equal. And unlike other comics who go, "Are there any Puerto Ricans here?" "No." "Good, let's talk about them." I literally will go on stage and say, "Any Puerto Ricans here?" "No?" Then I'm not gonna do jokes about Puerto Ricans because I need them to be here. Because if I'm gonna do jokes about you, I want somebody here to be able to go, nah, that's not how it is, or to go, nah, that's how it is. And so I go the opposite route. And listen, man, I've never been funnier. I get standing ovations pretty much every single show.
Because you hit on truths. Look, the stuff about like what an undocumented immigrant will do when pulled over versus like other people,
but it's
is
true.
On point.
100%.
So on point.
100%.
You're not ragging on them. You know, it's funny.
But it's a happiness. It's a happiness that we don't have.
Right.
It's a, you know, it's the grabbing la cruz and go, por favor, que no me manden, que no me manden, que no me manden. And you know what I mean? Look, I'm from Honduras. I have family members that I've literally taught how to speak English or Spanish with a Mexican accent, so that if they ever get caught, they don't get sent back to Honduras. They get sent back to Mexico. Like one of the big ones is in Honduras, pisto is money. But pistear in Mexico is the drink.
Right.
So, you know, so I'm like, hey, bro, you need to know that. So, because they might trick you with that. They might say something in Spanish, pisto, and then you're going to be like, oh, no tengo dinero. And like, oh, you're from Honduras.
Yeah.
So, like, I've lived these moments, and I get these, but that's always what I've been. I think that the difference is because of all the stuff that we began this with.
Yeah.
I think that I'm aware of the fact that if I do things or say things in a certain way without sometimes qualifying what I'm doing, it takes people to a negative place. So I literally start pretty much all my shows by telling people, if any of my openers said anything that you found even remotely insensitive or hurtful, get out. Like, go get your money back. I'm literally gonna piss you off in 10 minutes. And literally 10 minutes later, there's a certain segment of audience that get really upset because, long story short, my cousin Benji, I told you about earlier, got shot in the back when he was a kid. So I ended up at Rancho Los Amigos Hospital all the time when he was recovering, when he got cold sores, when he got scoliosis. So lo que pasa is that when that happened, I befriended all these kids with all these disabilities. And so when I started doing stand-up, something really interesting happened. The kids with cerebral palsy started saying this to me. All right, for real. How come you do jokes about everybody else, but you never do jokes about us? Why not? We talk and you're funny and we make fun of each other all the time. And it hit me. It hit my soul. Because what they were saying was, when we're here, we're human. But when you're on the stage, we're not human to you. Why is that? And I remember thinking, man, I told him, I go, listen, here's the thing about doing jokes about you. Everybody's going to think I'm a cruel person. Everybody's going to think I'm making fun of you. And I was already into like the Latino thing, so I already knew, like, the irony of doing jokes about people with disabilities is the better my impression, the more of an a-hole I am.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? So the more, like, I bet you right now you felt a little uncomfortable with me doing that voice.
I want to
a little part of you.
I didn't want to get in trouble.
But there you go. But do you see what I'm saying? But here's what changed for me.
Right.
When I said to the kids, I go, listen, guys, they're going to think I'm an a-hole. They're going to think I'm cruel. And Marcus goes, or maybe it's because you're a fucking pussy. And I went, oh, my God. Like, you called me out, and I'm going to do it. And from that point on, I put them in my act, and they're part of it. And it was ironic. I was in Lexington, Kentucky this weekend, and a lady actually said to me, even if they are not the butt of your joke, why put people with disabilities in your act in the first place? And I looked at her and I said, because unlike you, I don't ignore people's existence because they have a disability. I don't pretend they don't exist because they're not like me. And I don't tell my children, stop staring at them. Like, what a cruel thing. You grow up with a disability and you already feel alone, right? Because numerically you are. And then when you go outside, everybody pretends they don't see you.
Right.
Everybody pretends you're not there.
Yeah.
Everybody pretends that you exist. Like, man, what a cruel thing to do, to make them feel even more alone. Go up to them, say hi, like, talk to them. You know, even if they can't or they don't want to, at least they're gonna feel seen. And that's what I do. But those are the things that have changed in how I perform, right? That before, the joke would have been the same, but it wouldn't have come from the depths that they come from now, right? They come from a much deeper place because all this forced me to become a deeper man.
Dude, this deep well of because I mean, look, you're obviously hilarious in a comic, but you're also a very sad. You know, you have sadness in you, and you confront yourself. You're one of these people that looks at themselves in the mirror no matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what. And I think this needs to be explored more. I don't know whether it's a documentary. I don't know, because maybe it's a dramedy. Dog, because you're willing to go to a place. I know comics, they confront darkness, but not necessarily in themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe now I want to ask you this though,
because I've wanted to commit suicide, bro.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not easy to get a standing ovation.
Right.
3 shows in a row. Be high as a kite.
Mm-hmm.
Have everybody telling you how great you are, how amazing you are. Having somebody literally say, "You helped me when I had cancer. Your positive energy gave me the will to fight it." And then, whose jokes did he tell? You know, he's don't do. Dude, it weighs heavy, bro.
Okay, but you're not reading those comments, because by the way, the comments that I got after a thing, I was expecting them. I did not. Like, I was like, I expected that. Off my shoulders. Do you still take these things to heart? Can't you just be like? I
don't take them to heart. Here's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I'm not gonna say who, a producer called me up and said, "I'm really sorry. I was a huge fan of so-and-so. I believed all of the stuff, and I don't anymore. And now I see things differently. And I've watched you perform, and you are blah, blah, blah. But I need to apologize for something. A couple of years ago, there was a project that some people wanted you on, and I made sure that you didn't become part of the project because of how I felt about you. And I need to say I'm sorry."
Wow.
And at that moment, you're telling me that you took money out of my pocket, and you're also telling me that you were wrong in doing so. As a human being, like, dude, I don't know how to feel. Back in the day, I would have stabbed you in the neck.
Right.
I would have. Today, I can say, you know, that's big of you, and thank you, and I appreciate it. But you can't, a moment like that, you can't just go, "Oh, well, could have been on a TV show, could have been in that movie.
Right.
Oh, well, such is life." Those moments suck me back into that moment of like, Jesus Christ, like how bad was this?
But I think that's a sign that it's turning. That guy is gonna fucking, or a girl, whoever it was, is gonna remember that, and now there's gonna be a project coming up where they're gonna do the opposite. Because we gotta wrap up.
We'll see.
No, trust me, man, dude. The new special you're on it now. Last couple of minutes before you wrap up, I want to talk about this audience that you've built on tour, going on the illegal immigrants and rednecks, basically people in the middle of the country. Mm-hmm. So, Hollywood, we've gone over your relationship with Hollywood and the train wreck that's been, and people in New York are an extension of that. But everyone in between, the people in Arizona who are either they are or they have family that are illegal immigrants, the rednecks in Kentucky, they're your audience now.
You know what's funny? Every single club I go to, every single club, right now, every single performance I do, every single theater, I get told this: you have the most diverse audience of any comedian we've ever seen. Not just age-wise, but of like the ethnic mix. They're like, there's nobody. Like, we thought a bunch of Latinos were gonna come out, or we thought a bunch of this were gonna come out. They're like, we didn't even know there were people from India here. And like so I think that what's happening is it's what I said earlier, that I don't want to be a niche comedian. I don't want you to come and see me because I'm a Latino, support Latinos. No, you support good product. If product is good, then support it. If it's not, then don't. If somebody makes a bad tortilla, it doesn't matter if you're Mexican. Spit it out and go get a better one. And so I'm just trying to be funny to everybody. I'm not letting any of this, well, it's past me. I don't let it bother me anymore until little moments like that occur. But at the end of the day, what I want people to know is that it's okay to be sad. It's okay to not have a good day. It's okay for people to try to derail you and sabotage your career. It's okay. There's going to be another day. There will be another moment. You will get a chance to get up if you allow yourself to. And I want to be an example of that. for especially people that are going through really hard times.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
Well, dude, you are.
Today, anyway.
You are. And the 2 podcasts that I've done with you so far are inspiring to me. Your honesty is inspiring, and the fact that you're back, dude, this special is killer. You're touring, you're killing.
I didn't think I was gonna like it.
No, man, you're on it, dude. You're on it.
I didn't, because when I did it, it was so not normal for me. It was so, you come to me, let the comedy come to me, not me in your face. I thought I was gonna hate it, and when I saw it, I'm so proud of it. I told my friends, I go, you know what? This is probably going to be a special that everybody loves, and that I'm like, you know what I mean?
Look, man, I think you're back, and it's cool that you're on Roku because they have a lot of middle America audiences, and like I said, I think that your audience is basically everyone in between LA and New York, from the Mexicans to the white people and everyone in between, because you're honest as fuck.
Yeah,
right. And that's
always have been.
That's why I'm a fan of yours, dog.
Appreciate
Thank you
bro.
for coming, man.
Always, man.
Carlos Mencia, check him out on Here I Am on Roku and on tour. No hate, no fear.
No hate, no fear.
Holla back. Carlos Mencia back on Checkitow. Sweet. Let's take some. Dude, another killer, man.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.